you got made a tax collector?
John Neville picked me. He knows that I know Washington County and Allegheny County like the back of my hand.
Don't give you no excuse for being hard on your old friends, Bob. It's too big a tax. If you could see your way clear to taxing me on, say, 100 gallons instead of 200 gallons, I might see my way clear of making that worth your while.
Harry, you know Grandma Armstrong?
Nor, I'm her uncle. Been feuding with her and her kin ever since 76.
You know, Grandma Armstrong ain't paid a cent of taxes. You think you could find out where her distilled liquor is hid?
I reckon.
Because if you could, you might be able to make an arrangement about your taxes.
All right, then. Down the pike about a mile is Moore's apple orchard. You go off to the right, following along the turkey tracks, round the edge of a clearing by the woods.
Now, just what the hell do you reckon you're doing?
That's a pretty big still you got back there. About how many gallons a month you put out?
None of your business.
Well, as tax collector, I reckon it is. My name's Robert Johnson. I'm acting on behalf of the United States government.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm not. I'm Grandma Armstrong, and I'd advise you to get. I mean, get.
I've seen enough evidence in that barn to qualify you for $80 in taxes, plus a penalty for lawbreaking.
Careful you don't drink up all that evidence. Now, let me tell you something, young man. I ain't seen $80 around here in 5 years, 'cause I don't sell no liquor. I'd trade it for things I need. So don't talk no $80 taxes to me. And another thing, what do those taxes do for us? Nothing. We need a road instead of that turkey track you came up on.
You want to be placed under arrest. We already took in 20 people for not paying the taxes.
Well, you still got your 2 feet to walk away on. Get out of here.
Okay, Grandma, let's go.
What's this?
It's an arrest warrant sworn out on the district court in Philadelphia.
Will you? Oh, take your hands off me! Ah! Help me!
Let's go. Off to Philadelphia, eh? And you can tell it to the judge.
This is a report from the western part of Pennsylvania. Read it, Hamilton.
Rumors. Nothing but rumors. Do they think that I have urged this tax on the country because I dislike the country?
I know these people. They fought well in the Revolution. They think they've made their contribution. I sympathize with them. Whiskey is their livelihood, and the tax, one more hardship.
We had anticipated quite a substantial revenue from this tax. Whiskey is not a necessity, it is a luxury.
They regard whiskey as a necessity, and so do I. I also know that the government needs the revenue, and that's why I finally signed the bill into law.
And they are breaking the law.
Who's our inspector in that district?
General John Neville served under you in the war.
Governor Mifflin is here, sir.
Oh, thank you. Send him in. Governor, I'm glad to see you.
Mr. President, Colonel Hamilton?
I often think of what a tower of strength you were during the war. And when I needed strong men in the Congress, I knew I could count on your support.
We did what needed to be done, sir.
The only reward a friend can expect for his loyalty is to be imposed upon again. And that's the situation you face, I'm afraid. I depend on you, Governor. Colonel Hamilton has told you why I requested you to come here.
He has, Mr. President.
Well, the people in the western part of your state are defying the law.
A few isolated incidents, Mr. President. I just don't see anything across those mountains that the courts can't settle. Very frankly, sir, I think you should leave it alone. It'll all blow over. Those people fight among themselves all the time.
Governor Mifflin, you yourself understand what is involved in constitutional responsibility. You're aware of the word duty. Now, here we have a national law, and one section of the country cannot of its own motion disobey that law. That is the road to anarchy.
Forgive me, sir, but this tax is unpopular with my constituents. Surely you do not ask me to enforce your law.
My law?
Colonel Hamilton's law, then?
Congress's law.
Sir.
I've got a clue. Where'd you find it? Out in the barnyard. To all to whom these presents may come, and so and so and so, and says, Mrs. Maggie Armstrong is hereby ordered to set aside all manner of business and appear in her person before the judge of the District Court of the United States at Philadelphia. Philadelphia? That's 2 weeks' trip.
They've arrested her.
Same thing's happening to us across the line in Allegheny County. They closed down one still after another on us, arrested our people. I'm David Bradford, and I'm looking for help. Our grain is sure to rot if we can't distill it into whiskey.
We'll take on your problems when we got our own under control. Hugh, as a lawyer, you can think of something we can help Grandma.
Well, I'll tell you, they can send more federal collectors up into these hills than there is grizzly bears, but they ain't taking nobody else no place.
Now, you stay put till you hear from me.
Well, to attack the Capitol in Philadelphia. That's where all this trouble started.
John Neville is closer at hand. I just passed his place. Nice big old barn, all stocked up full of whiskey. Whiskey they took away from us.
Well, old John Neville was kind enough to send his calling card over to Grandma's. Maybe we ought to pay him a little visit.
What are you thinking of, Harmon?
I'm thinking maybe we ought to scare him a little. You say you know where John Neville lives?
Bower Hill.
Well, that's not too far from here, is it, boys?
I know an awful lot of people who'd like to join you. I'll just ride around and fetch him, and I'll meet you over there.
Billy, you can't go on this barn raising. Somebody's got to stay here and watch it still. Let's go, come on. Billy, stay out of the spirits. Ain't nobody paid no taxes on them yet.
There are 100 men out here. Come out unarmed or we'll attack.
One man killed. Neville's barn burned. 2,000 insurgents are planning to march on Pittsburgh and attack the excise office. Some of the rebel leaders are urging the western counties to declare themselves independent of the United States.
This is mounting to a rebellion. Why hasn't Governor Mifflin taken charge?
Because he still believes, I'm sure, that a federal tax is a federal matter.
Hamilton, I've given this a great deal of thought, and I'm prepared to go to any length that the Constitution and the laws permit to preserve the right of the federal government to govern.
The Constitution directs the president to take care that the laws are faithfully executed.
I've read Section 2 so many times that it's fixed in my mind. The president shall be commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy and the militia of the several states when called into actual service of the United States. I've made up my mind. Since General Wayne has the army out on the frontier, I want you to issue a proclamation in my name federalizing the state militias of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia.
Federalized state militia, who would lead them?
I shall.
You, Mr. President. You could be killed, sir.
The risk is worth it, you see, for both constitutional and, well, practical reasons.
May I join your command, Mr. President?
I should welcome your company.
They're sending troops against us.
Who told you that?
Nobody told me that. I saw it in writing.
Where?
Right here in this letter.
How'd you get this?
One of my men intercepted a post rider. Troops will be coming against us, and we better be prepared for them. Whose side are you on, anyway?
How long are you going to take these matters into your own hands? You've committed arson, and now you're stealing the mail. We want a solution to our problem, not law-breaking in the name of finding a solution.
The president is not gonna stop us.
I got my gun, Oil. I'm ready if they try anything.
We got hundreds more just like you.
David, what are you trying to start here? I think it's time for me to tell you fellows something. If you undertake armed resistance, you'll be levying war against the United States. That's a crime of treason. Now, you might just think about that, gentlemen. If I'm going to be hanged, I want to choose my own gallows.
You talking surrender?
I don't think most of the people around here really intend to declare war against their country. They just want a law repealed.
You're wasting time.
We don't want any troops here, or any more burning or rioting. Now, somebody's got to go talk to General Washington. You two men, you go as our agents. You tell Washington that as far as this county is concerned, we'll stop the violence if the government agrees not to send in the troops.
I'm game to go.
You'll probably get arrested. And you remember, you're not talking for the other counties. You're on your own.
Waiting for, Mr. President. Units of the Pennsylvania and New Jersey militia have rendezvoused at Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Governor Mifflin has taken personal command of the Pennsylvania militia. Maryland and Virginia contingents will shortly be assembled at Fort Cumberland.
This is very good news. How many men in all have turned out, Lieutenant?
Nearly 13,000 able-bodied men, sir.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, a little ways ahead, near Panther Hollow. I saw two of the rebels. They're waiting to meet with you there, sir.
Mr. General Washington, sir, we represent the distillers, and,
Our people consider this a local affair. The boys want to ask you not to go any further.
we don't need no federal interference to solve our problems.
You people are prepared to obey the law?
Some is, some ain't.
Gentlemen, the army is on its way to your region. Their orders will not be countermanded. The law is clear. My constitutional responsibility is to do what is necessary to execute the law. This federal government is not a rope of sand. It cannot be torn apart by a minority of lawbreakers.
Would you consider any other solution besides troops?
I have already considered another alternative. I will grant you people amnesty if...
What?
Amnesty. It means forgiveness. But your people must put their names to this proposition I have approved. Colonel Hamilton will read it to you.
I solemnly promise henceforth to submit to the laws of the United States that I will not, directly or indirectly, oppose the execution of acts for raising a revenue on distilled spirits and stills, and that I will support, as far as the law requires, the civil authority in affording protection due to all officers and other citizens.
May we talk to our people?
That is the idea. You may tell them that if they sign the agreement, the President will pardon them for their past offenses against their government.
What'd you say to his royal highness? Talked right up to him. Tom says, it's a free country. We won't take none of your front. Says we're the free people of Western Pennsylvania, and we ain't afraid of no soldiers. Wow.
Well, how about the soldiers when you give him that?
Well, backed off, Harmon. You could see him backing away, hundreds of them.
All right, men. You put the fear of God into the President of the United States. But that's not what you went out there to do. You were commissioned to tell Washington that we'd stop the violence if he'd halt those troops in their tracks. Now, is that what you did? Then the militia's still coming?
He offered us amnesty if we just sign this paper he gave us.
Where does it say what they'll do if we do sign this paper? Where's that part about calling off the troops?
Well, doesn't it say that there? Let me see. He just told us he would.
That'll do. President Washington's word is good enough for me. The people of all 4 counties are meeting tonight. We'll put it to a vote.
Do you think that all are sincere who clamor for war? How many are too young or too ignorant to realize what war is? How many are cowards who want to sound brave? How many have nothing to lose and will escape as the first gun is fired? Don't count on them when the bullets begin to fly. You depend on these, you'll find yourself forced to take the same course by and by, and to descend the current with the frogs. Men pretend to be for war because they're afraid to speak their true sentiments. I have my eye on people here, and I could name them, who pretend to follow those who promote violence. And yet in private they have confessed to me what they really think, that they want to be out of this trouble on almost any terms. After what has happened, my friends, I'm afraid any terms short of sacrifice of life itself must be accepted.
We can beat any army that shows themselves on this side of the mountain. No retreat!
Right. I suggest to you the time has come to vote on this offer of amnesty.
The insurrection in the western counties of Pennsylvania has been brought to an end, not with bloodshed, but with the ballot box, and by the vote of the former insurgents themselves. I trust that you are in agreement with me that the divisive spirit which had arisen to overturn the laws and subvert the Constitution ought to be subdued. If this is not done, we may bid farewell to all government in this country, except the government by mobs and clubs, from which nothing but anarchy and confusion can follow. Although it may at times prove necessary to raise the sword of justice against obstinate offenders, let us never deviate from the more important aim, to establish the authority of the laws in the affections of all, rather than in the fears of any.
If this country should ever reach the point where any man or group of men, by force or threat of force, could long deny the commands of our court and our Constitution, then no law would stand free from doubt. No judge would be sure of his writ, and no citizen would be safe from his neighbors.